Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Feedback Learnex, where we start part 1 of the history of manga and anime in Japanese culture. Although anime and manga are represented in different formats, they have a common aesthetic origin and are linked as artistic expression. Anime is a projection, evolution, or technical derivation of the traditional Japanese manga. Origin of manga. The origin of manga as a way of telling stories and defining the word began during the second half of the 19th century and the first of the 20th century, 1868 to 1912, in the middle of a period of cultural and economic opening under the rule of Emperor Mutsuhito. The word manga is made up of two kanji words, man or informal, and ga, drawing. It literally translates to whimsical drawings or squiggles. This term was coined to define the art that emerged from the union of the graphic style of traditional Japanese painting and Western style comics. Currently, the word manga is used in Japan to refer to comics in a general way. Outside of Japan, this word is used more specifically to refer to the Japanese style of drawing and telling stories. The greatest exponent of this artistic movement is the painter Hokusai, famous for his world-famous prints. In addition, he was the creator of the word manga, written in the title of his book, Hokusai Manga, Manga in the 20th Century. The cartoonist Rakuten Kitasawa was the author of a cartoon called Tagosaku to Mokube no Tokyo Kenbutsu. His work in 1902 is officially considered the first manga in history with a form and characteristics similar to those of today. In it, the story of two peasants who take a trip to sightseeing in Tokyo is told. How they are rural characters with little knowledge of modern life in the big city. When they arrive, they behave in a not so intelligent way. In the 20s and 30s of the 20th century, manga became popular, guiding children and young people of the time. It was this time that they began to be exported outside of Japan for generic consumption as entertainment. However, it was not until after the Second World War in 1945, in the post-war period, that the consumption of manga became widespread and firmly established as an industry. At this time, Japan demanded the psychological need to look the other way because of the suffering suffered years ago. This was an opportunity for manga since it covered this need, apart from the low cost of acquiring one in the dire economic situation of the moment. Currently, manga is one of the most important industries in Japan, although in recent years there has been a notable decrease in the sale of copies in favor of anime, which is experiencing a considerable increase. The fault of this change has to do with the change in the habits of the consumer and society, since the immediacy and ease of the internet is pursued to see and consume entertainment. In this sense, anime has been favored to the detriment of manga, which generates a greater effort for those who want to read one. The best-selling manga in history is One Piece, created in 1997 with more than 406 million copies sold worldwide. For now. That's it for this week's edition of Feedback Learnex. Stay tuned next week where we take a look at part 2 of history of manga and anime in Japanese culture. See you next week.